Hi everyone, and welcome to the Aries Weekly Tarot Bite reading for the week of July 24th through 30th. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot reading for Soul Illumination. So hi everyone and welcome. My name is Lauren. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you get something meaningful out of this reading. So we're looking at the energy for the week ahead for the sign of Aries. This is going to be just a quick look, about a 10-minute reading or so, and we're basing it off of the two themes that came up in the weekly collective reading, which was posted on Monday for the week. So those two themes were flexible and the high priestess. Now, the way that those kind of came forward was that flexible was really speaking to staying flexible this week as things kind of start to shift and change in our physical environment, as we, the new versions of ourselves, are looking to kind of make their way forward, or we're looking to really bring in a new dream for ourselves. And as we start to really focus on that with the high priestess, that deep internal knowing that something is new is coming to the surface, or that we're kind of stepping into a different cycle that is going to start to change things around us physically. And so this is one of those weeks where it's like, okay, the pieces may be shifting a little bit, but what's really going to help us anchor and stay flexible, kind of what's going to be those grounding roots that keep us in place, is going to be that guiding dream, principle, something we want, the bigger picture for ourselves that we're bringing in the cycle, or the new version of ourselves we're waiting to kind of bring out into the world. All right, so Aries, we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull some cards to see what each of these themes really mean for you this week, and if there's any other stories that want to come out for you. So what does Aries need to know about being flexible? What does Aries? Okay, so we have three cards that came out. We have the Five of Wands, we have the Moon, and we have the King of Cups. And what this is really speaking to for many of you is really staying centered in your emotions, meaning being very aware of your emotional self. Because with the Five of Wands and the Moon, there may be a little bit of, I would say, either a competitive, a combative, or a chaotic energy this week. When with the Moon, there's a sense of kind of there's something that's unclear. This can be where all of a sudden, it could be in a work environment, you're seeing two of your bosses kind of get into it a little bit, or all of a sudden there's an energy maybe in your household that feels like everybody's trying to have their say and no one's quite getting on the same page, and there's a lack of understanding as to where this energy might be coming from. And with the King of Cups, there's this feeling of really stepping into that place of emotional maturity as you're going through this kind of energy. That Five of Wands, the Moon. The Moon always kind of speaks to the way is unclear. It does also speak sometimes to that call, that feeling, that intuitive feeling of when we are kind of called, pulled by the Moon. And for some of you, there may be something about that maybe you're feeling a little called into something, jumping into something competitively. Maybe there's this feeling of, okay, now's the time for me to say something in this meeting and step up to the plate. And it's going to require you to really stay grounded in your emotional state. So being aware of your emotions, but not letting them get the better of you. The King of Cups is someone who really understands how to lead from what they're feeling, but not kind of fly off the handle. The King of Cups is not someone who's going to go, be crazy and laugh raucously, and then the next minute be crying and sobbing in the corner. This is an individual who really feels their emotions, does not hide from them, but knows also how to take action once they really are able to comprehend what those emotions are telling them, what the emotions are telling them about their whole experience in that moment. So there's a sense of really stepping into that. Now, for some of you who are dealing with a water sign in your life, possibly a Scorpio, this could also be where there's a little bit of kind of butting heads this week, where maybe you're kind of not seeing, there's almost that kind of question mark of like, why are we getting into it this week? Why is this something coming up where we're kind of butting heads or where we're getting a little competitive? So keep that in mind. that if you are dealing with a water sign in your life, possibly as a romantic partner or as someone that maybe you work intimately with, even a family member that you're closely connected to, there could be a sense here, especially if they're a Scorpio, there's a little bit of this combative energy coming through. There might be this sense here of kind of having to stay flexible through that and maybe waiting to see, even though the moon is kind of like the way is unclear, it's kind of like waiting to see like where this energy is going to take you. And again, staying firm in that emotional maturity and that emotional grounding. Okay, so let's see here, the High Priestess. What do you need to know about what your intuition is telling you? What is this intuitive knowing for yourself? That's a few too many cards. So let's see. What does Aries need to know? Ooh, we have a whole story coming out here. Now, I did see the 8 of Wands come through, so there could be a lot of fast movement. You might know that there's going to be a lot of fast movement. Okay, so we have the 9 of Pentacles and the Hierophant. There's a sense here of really, I think for some of you, seeing possibly where maybe you're kind of stuck in a comfort zone and where now it's time to kind of leave the nest. The Hierophant can speak to commitments. It can speak to the beliefs and the structures that we choose to follow in our life. These can be religious structures. These can be governmental structures. These can be just societal norms that we decide that we're going to abide by. And with the 9 of Pentacles, that speaks to a certain level of physical independence. This can be where we're getting to that place where we have enough money in the bank and we have the car and the job and we have that time to stop and smell the roses and enjoy the fruits of our labor. But there's a sense here with the Hierophant coming in of maybe seeing a bigger picture for that, of a sense of maybe even challenging your belief system a little bit as to when we think of the 9 of Pentacles, that's not the stopping point. It's a nice place, yes, to enjoy the abundance you have worked very hard for to get to that point. But there's one step further to go to the 10 of Pentacles. And the 10 of Pentacles is like that ultimate fulfillment of what we want to manifest in the physical. It's that kind of legacy-minded thinking. It's not just saying, okay, we're going to stop here because it's good. It's saying, like, what are we going to leave for the children and the grandchildren? Or what is my mark on society going to be? Or what am I really looking forward to in retirement? There's something here around really having this kind of much broader forward vision for yourself. There's a sense here of really seeing what more you can do with what you currently have. And there might be this intuitive kind of feeling of like, okay, I want to get out there. I want to see what I can do. I'm kind of ready to leave the nest. And maybe this is challenging a little bit of those, whatever the belief structures you've had in place. It could even be challenging societal norms. But we have the 10 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So this is definitely in relation to your vision of what you feel. If the 10 of Pentacles is your legacy, is like your ultimate fulfillment of what you want to manifest in the physical, the 10 of Cups is ultimately feeling what it would be like to actually be present at that moment of realizing I've achieved everything I've wanted. And so I always get the visualization that the 10 of Cups is not only the happy family card, which it can be seen as sometimes, but it's also getting to that place of literally feeling that emotional fulfillment of what it would feel like to just briefly live a little piece of your vision of heaven on earth. And I think that there's a kind of this guiding I almost intuitively feel like it's bubbling up to the surface for some of you where you're like, oh my gosh, I feel the bigger picture. Maybe you don't even see the bigger picture. Maybe you're just feeling it right now. And that could be what's maybe creating a little bit of tension between you and another person, because maybe there's another person in your life who's like, hey, we're good. Like, why do we need to change? Or maybe you're the person who's like, we're good. And the other person in your life is like, we need to keep going. So there's something here around that. But it's around the 10 of Cups. That's kind of the bubbling up from the emotional depths coming through here. So I'm going to pull and see what this 5 of Wands is. Kind of what is this element of either chaos or competition, possibly combativeness coming in here this week. Let's see, what does Aries need to know about the Five of Wands? Okay, so yeah, we have two cards here. You have the Page of Cups, and then we have a card that is specific to this deck, which to me kind of always speaks to the Ten of Cups, Ten of Pentacles together. It's what I look at as, you can see in this card, it's like the truly bringing it to the family essence of lineage, of like what do you want if you see yourself in old age? What do you want to pass on to further generations? What do you want this picture of yourself to be like when you're that age? And there's a sense here with the Page of Cups of kind of having this innocent approach to admitting that that's what you want for yourself, admitting to yourself that I want that happy family. I want the home with all the bells and whistles. I want to have a home. This would be like saying, I want to have the vacation home that eventually my children will come with their grandchildren, and this will be every summer, everybody stays here. It's like one of those things to have that long-term vision, and then meeting it with kind of the innocence of a child, saying, this is my dream. This is what wakes my inner child up. And I think for many of you, there's this like feeling of that, like touching on that. And it may be the first time you've ever felt that. If you're younger, that may be like the first time of like, I see the bigger picture for myself. I maybe got a glimpse of what that heaven on earth might feel like. And it might be pushing you at this point to maybe get out there. That could also be this for some of you. There could be a sense of like feeling that pull of, you know what? I'm going to get out there and see what I'm made of, to see how I can push myself outside of a comfort zone, how I can push myself outside of my own belief systems that I've followed to this point, to see how I can start to make this happen. The way may be unclear. I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm going to use my emotional strength to feel my way forward. So Aries, my advice to you this week is feel your way forward. Get to that place where you feel into getting just that little touch of, I see it. I see kind of the end goal here. But not only do I see it, I feel it. And now I'm ready to follow that feeling. All right, I will leave it there. I hope you all have a wonderful week ahead, Aries. If you'd like to book your personal reading, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website. Otherwise, I will be releasing August's full tarot scope for each sign starting at the end of this week and moving into next week. So hopefully I will see you all there. Bye, Aries.